Wait, papaiyak mo na rin?
Juan, saan ka man dalhin ang kapalaran? Iisang bayan lang sa puso mo'y laman, pinagmulan at babalikan. Konting tiis na lang at hanggang sa araw na yan ay asal. Kami nandito lang, sabay na pakinggan ang mga kwento nyo. Isigaw natin sa mundo, bagong bayani namin kayo. Sipag at tapang nyo, hinialay sa mundo, sinasaludo namin kayo. Pilipino, itaas ang noo, ipagmalaki mo ang galing nyo, isigaw sa mundo.
UK at Europe, magandang gabi Pilipinas, at kung saan man kayo naroroon, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ihahatid namin sa inyo ang kwento ng iba-ibang mukha ni Juan sa special program live streaming Ngayong Connect Kontra Corona here on Facebook, kasama po ang YouTube. Samahan niyo kami sa mga natatanging kwento ng mga Pinoy sa Europa na mag-iiwan ng aral, impormasyon, ngiti at pag-asa. Ako po si Rose Eclarinal.
Ito po ang Kwentong Pinoy, Kwentong Migrante, Kwentong Ngayong Connect Kontra Corona. I'm Crystal Diaz.
For our Kontra Corona project for 6 months, the National Lottery Community Fund is graciously funding this project to serve the Filipino communities in England, UK, and beyond. Today, we have a very special guest. Live on Ngayong Connect is our Pinoy singing sensation from the Voice Kids UK 2020, Victoria Alsina. And for Philcom Connect, we will be joined by Crystal Diaz. So, Crystal, what do you have for us?
Well, today is about community service in the Philippines. A British lady who has dedicated her life helping the vulnerable, women and children in the poorest part of the Philippines. The one and only Miss Jane Walker, MBE.
Wow, I'm excited. And I'm also excited that we're back live because in the last 2 weeks, we were focused on delivering our commitment, our docu-series, part 1. So yung mga hindi pa po nakakapanood nun, it's on our Facebook, it's on our YouTube. Panoorin po ninyo. Now, we will welcome to our show, Victoria Alsina. Hi, Victoria. Hi.
Hi!
Hi, Victoria. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. I'm excited to have you on the show. Now, would you have the honors of introducing your parents to us?
So, this is my daddy. And this is my mommy. I don't.
Hi, magandang araw po sa inyo. I'll talk to Jasmine also in Tagalog. Jasmine, is that okay? And Victoria and Bernard, do you understand Tagalog?
Only a few words. So it will have
Only
to
a
be in
few
English to me.
Okay. So, Victoria, first of all, how was your first week back in school?
Well, when I was at school, people kept on running up to me and saying, "Oh, well done, Victoria!" And the Voice Kids, "Well done, Victoria!" And then it kept on for the whole week, it kept on happening. But it stopped the next week, which was okay. But when they were saying all those words, I couldn't play because loads of people were asking me questions like, "How is it with Will I Am?" and all those stuff, and yeah, it was just really difficult to play there. But I mean, I got hold of it.
Oh, wow. So you're a celebrity in the school now.
Not yet, but I wish I could.
No, because you told us that people were approaching you and coming to you.
Yes, in the playground.
Oh, wow. So,
She got recognized as well when we went shopping.
Yes.
4 different families.
really?
Victoria. Yeah, like that wasn't
Yeah, and we saw a Filipino family saying, "Oh, can I take pictures with you? Are you the Voice Kids? Are you the one who was in the Voice Kids?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And they wanted to say, they said, "Oh, can I have a picture with you?" And then I was like, "Yes."
It's nice to be recognized.
Yes, it was amazing.
Oh, so how are you taking it? Are you happy that people are recognizing you and actually some of them probably would ask for your autograph.
Um, not yet, but soon I will. Um,
Soon she'll carry a pen with her.
Yeah. So tell us, who was the one who encouraged Victoria to join the Voice Kids UK?
a mummy.
Oh, mommy. So Jasmine, sa'yo ba nanggaling yung galing ni Victoria sa pagkanta?
I don't think so. Hindi naman ako magaling kumanta. Kasi as Filipino, alam naman natin kung kung nakakakanta ka talaga, 'di ba? At saka lagi tayong may karaoke. you know, pagka may birthday party, lagi tayong may karaoke. Siguro may inborn talaga yung talent niya. Well, I help her a little bit. Improve her a little bit. So, yeah.
That's true. Pero I noticed also, Bernard, that your voice is very well modulated. You have a very nice voice, the
Thank
timbre
you.
of your
That's
voice.
because I've worked on the radio for many years.
Oh,
Yes, I can do Ted
that.
Filon. I can do Ted Filon.
So go ahead.
Hello, I'm Ted Filon. Welcome to News Patrol. Is it?
TV
I
Patrol.
think so.
I'm
But then-
Ted Filon. Welcome to TV Patrol.
That's funny. But, I think your voice really is very professional, very sounding like
Yeah,
radio.
I've been earning my living talking into microphones for 25 plus years. But, radio and voiceovers. Not singing like this one. This one has the singing talent. What a beautiful voice. You'll see, all of you, you'll see.
Yes, definitely. And then, Jasmine, maraming mga kababayan natin talaga they were rooting for Victoria kasi napakagaling niya. Imagine at a young age, 8 years old, the youngest in the final,
Ever.
and I think
Yeah,
in the
the youngest.
history
Yeah, she
of
made a history.
Youngest at the
yes, and
semi-final,
in the
youngest
history
at the
of the Voice
finals.
Kids UK, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So Victoria, when you were performing there, were you a little bit nervous also? We didn't see that.
Well, I was a little bit nervous, but the most I was actually really excited too.
Mm.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
worked on the
that's
stage as
great.
well, haven't you? You've done
Yes, I've
stage
done
work.
the King and I, Annie, and then that really improved my nerves. That
Yeah,
really
I
helped it.
bet.
Yeah, yeah.
theatre. She's used to the stage. By the time she got to the TV stage, she was on the theatre stage for a couple of years. Right on the King and I, she
Yes.
toured around the
Oh,
country.
that was it
Yes.
the King and I where you had to tour around the UK?
That's right. Yeah.
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 Oh, well done. But you see, at a young age, 8 years old, you have achieved a lot. Your parents must be really proud of you. So tell us,
Oh.
how are your parents supporting you in reaching for your dreams?
Um, so my mum auditioned me for the Voice Kids. I didn't think I was going to get this far to the final.
Mm.
I was
But
shocked, as
every
you see.
time, our agent, her agent asks for a
Mm.
self-tape, as they call them, for
Yes.
commercial work or theatre work, we do it straight away. That's my job. If it's a video, I make sure we get it done in time. I edit it and record her and everything. So we respond to what people are asking for straight away. That's a great way to support her. Actually singing, this one here, she she is
She sings in the
she is
bathroom.
very tough with her and gets
Well, it
good
has to
results.
start somewhere,
That's the
Jasmine.
nicest way of saying
Diba?
it.
Filipino, very, very tough.
That's the nicest way I can put it.
Filipinos.
No, she really works very hard
Yeah, she
every
actually
day.
really worked hard.
Every day before leaving for school, she'll be
Hmm.
singing a Whitney Houston song or a um, whoever song.
Yeah.
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 So
You
Leonga,
still have time to do
Oh
that?
yeah, Leo Salonga. I love her.
Oh, Lea Salonga. Oh, yes, everybody loves her in the Philippines. And of course, the Filipino diaspora in the UK, US. She has brought so much honor to the country. And she was Miss Saigon.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. And she done
Yeah.
Milan too. The movie Milan.
yeah,
Oh,
all of
yes.
us, all of us. So she's aspiring to really good voices. She's aspiring
Yeah.
Mhm.
to be as good as those. Already, I mean, even from 6, 7, she was
6.
doing that.
From
Started the
6.
theatre work from 6,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then
And started doing commercials.
commercials, and she
Mm.
started the Voice Kids at 7. She
Wow.
turned
She's
8
saying 8 this year.
just before the final.
Yeah.
Oh,
So she went
wow.
right up to the semi-final. It was all
Mhm.
pre-recorded.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yes.
that should be a secret or not, but I think everybody knows that. It
Everybody
was all
knows that,
pre-recorded.
anyways, because, there's lockdown, and also because it's a series, then you have to pre record some of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and luckily we did up to the semi-final before lockdown.
Yes.
So that it was just the
Oh,
final to do after lockdown, and the ITV was
They had to.
so good. They made
Yes, they came
sure
up with
everybody was
something.
safe.
Yeah.
They had a virtual audience.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people saw that with not real people in the seats, but TV screens with real people. A virtual audience full of
Loads of cameras and
loads of
yeah.
cameras. Well, they limited the number of crew, but it was
Yes.
really
oh, yes,
well done.
yes.
They were
Oh,
so careful. Yeah,
I see. Okay. And obviously,
ITV were brilliant.
there were also limited number of audience or totally no audience except the families.
Only
Only
family and
families.
Only
crew,
family. Yeah.
and the virtual audience on the TVs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Victoria, you mentioned about Lea Salonga that you
Yeah.
want to sing her song, or maybe you want to become like her. Who else are your inspirations?
I absolutely love to Whitney Houston and Beyonce.
Sorry, we're laughing. She always says Whitney Houston. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's Whitney Houston.
Whitney. Okay,
Houston.
Whitney Houston.
Just say Whitney,
Sorry.
don't say Houston.
Sorry.
That's fine.
This
That's
feels
so
very
cute.
natural. You're making us feel very relaxed. So there you go.
So,
Whitney Houston.
Victoria,
Who else?
who
Beyonce.
else?
Beyonce. Yeah.
Beyonce.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Mariah Carey.
Beyonce also. But you know what? I noticed that Will was very fond of you. What was he like in person?
He was amazing. I mean, he was the best coach for me. Um,
Hmm.
and sometimes he made me laugh, and he's a very kind guy, and I was very grateful to have him as a coach.
You can
Yeah.
tell
Oh,
by
that's
the
so.
way he looks at her that and he actually said, remember, that if he had a daughter,
Yes.
Yeah.
he wished that that daughter would
Yes,
be like
this is
his.
exactly what. This is what he said. I'm 45. Never thought about kids, but if I did, I would really want a kid like Victoria. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
And you can see
So,
sometimes when he's looking at her, he's looking at her like a dad. Yeah.
so gusto kanyang ampunin. Victoria, by the way, do you
Correct.
understand Tagalog?
Go for it. Sige na.
Wait.
You don't understand Tagalog.
No, I
I
don't.
try to teach
Oh,
I
but
do want to learn.
you want to learn. So your mommy has to talk to you in Tagalog.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think our viewers are looking forward to hear you sing, Victoria. Would you be doing that for us?
Yes, I am.
Rap.
Wait.
Rap.
Rap?
A rap.
No, not a rap.
Wait. Oh.
She didn't mean that. She didn't mean that.
No, I didn't. I'm going to
Sing a
sing.
Well,
song.
okay, yes. What will you
Well,
sing
you,
for
you
us?
can sing the What's wrong with you?
No. I'm going to sing.
Okay, so
What's wrong with the world,
you
Mama?
can sing.
No, reflection.
Okay.
Oh,
Reflection.
I'm going to sing reflection.
I
Vanessa
love.
Longa too.
I hope it sounds
Oh,
good
I
on this
love that.
microphone. Reflection.
I can't hear it.
Reflection.
Put it in.
All right, I'll hold it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's Victoria singing live for One Connect. Reflection. Is it reflection?
Look at me. I will never pass for perfect one or perfect daughter. Can't be. I'm not meant to play this part. Now I see that if I were truly to be myself, I would break my family's heart. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? Somehow I cannot
sound? How did that sound?
Perfect. Ang galing
How did that
naman.
sound?
Thank
Reflection.
you.
I said reflections a while ago. It's reflection. Okay. So, Jasmine, ano pa ang plano ninyo kay Victoria? Ngayon na mas interesado na siya, syempre mas na-discover na siya sa kanyang galing sa pagkanta.
Sa ngayon
What is
kasi
she doing now? Oo. She's
sa
back to
ngayon
school, right?
yes. Sa ngayon kasi busy siya sa school.
Mm-mm.
Tapos may agent siya.
Mm-mm.
Tapos nag-audition siya, may mga audition siya, and then meron siyang mga lessons, like piano lessons, then ballet dancing. She started
Mm-mm.
doing that just last week.
I'm going to
Mm-mm.
I
do piano
ayun,
lessons tomorrow.
yes. Yeah. So, she's very busy.
Wow.
So, yeah, ini-encourage her. Yeah, yan talaga yung
It's
ano
a
niya,
very
gusto
difficult.
niyang gawin to be,
Oo.
to be a performer in the
Okay.
theater.
So,
Yes.
I think I would have to ask you this kasi siyempre, we can only support our children for whatever they want to do in life, right?
That's right.
Especially if
Yes.
they're just 8 years old. So,
Yeah.
anong payo yung pwede mong ibigay sa mga magulang na nanonood ngayon at gusto nilang maging katulad ni Victoria yung anak nila?
Siguro ano lang, tulungan lang nila kung ano yung nakikita nilang talent sa kanilang mga anak. I-ano lang, encourage lang nila.
Mm-mm.
So, ayun lang ang masabi ko. Siyempre, nakakatulong din yung mga lessons, yung mga voice lessons na ganyan. Kung ano lang yung mga talent ng anak nila, i-encourage nila. Tapos, yun,
Yeah,
tulungan nila. Mm-mm.
tulungan nila. So, it's very important that we provide them
That's
with,
right.
the kind of nurturing for their
That's right.
talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pero nung bata pa ba si Victoria, sinubukan niya din yung maraming klase ng, for example, piano, violin, etc. Kasi yung ibang mga magulang, they want to find out kung alin yung gusto ng bata.
That's right. Si Victoria kasi, she started singing when she was 3. And yun nag-start lang naman siya ng mga piano lesson. Ito lang, a lot from etong year lang actually, tsaka itong ballet dancing as well.
Mm-mm.
Ito lang. It's actually just 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so nakita ko siya na talagang may talent yung, nung simula nung kumanta siya ng, since yung 3 taon siya, yun, nakikita ko sa kanya na may talent tong batang to kasi yung boses niya medyo mataas. So, so then tinulungan ko siyang i-develop kung ano yung talent niya. Ayun. So, hanggang sa nung 6 siya, 5, she started singing in the parties, Filipino parties. And then nagugustuhan nila kasi nga daw napaka-talented nga daw ni Victoria. Then, ayun na, nag-start na doon. Then pinasok siya sa theater. Ang first show niya noon, yung Annie Jr. when she was 6 sa Camberley Theater. Yeah,
Okay.
then yung may agent, then yung agent na yun in-audition siya doon sa The King and I, then she got that the part, yung
I
Princess
got it 2
Ying.
times.
Yeah, 2 times. Yun, tas ayun na, sunod-sunod na siya.
Well done, Victoria. I think also for Victoria, hindi lang importante na magaling kang kumanta, but of course, it comes with her personality. Kasi you can see that on stage. 'Di ba? The personality of a
Tama.
child. So,
Oo, tama.
isa siya sa lahat naman ng mga Pinoy na sumali sa The Voice Kids UK talagang
Talagang,
sinusuportahan natin, paborito ko, etc. But
tama.
of course, I have a soft spot for Victoria kasi meron akong 8-year-old daughter. She also turned 8 just
Yes. Yes.
recently. So I know that it's difficult for a child to overcome that stage fright,
That's
especially kung
right.
alam nilang mapapanood sila sa television. So what I can see is that Victoria loves what she's doing.
That's right, yeah. Yeah,
Di
you
ba?
cannot force a child, to do
Exactly.
this kind of thing. Yes.
You're
Exactly.
asking her all the time after every job,
And I would
you
say
know.
yes to everything.
Yeah, well, if you get fed up with doing this, tell us. You're
No,
not being
I'm,
forced to
I'm
do
never
this.
going to say that.
You know.
I never going to
Oh,
She love it. She love it.
she loves it. Yes, it's
Yeah.
not fed into her. It should be like it.
Yeah.
Shall we
But
start reading some comments from our viewers?
Yeah, sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, may mga greetings dito from our kababayan. Of
Oh,
course,
that's a nice
they,
comment.
they are happy to be watching and seeing Victoria live on One Connect. Wait a
That's no
second.
longer in the
Where
in the
are the
money.
Oh, Nelly Serran family. So sweet, very young, talented girl like you, Victoria. Yan.
Thank
Ito
you.
message ng kababayan natin. So, Victoria, maybe also this is an opportunity for you to say thank you to our kababayans who've been rooting for you, supporting you from the day that you auditioned to the finals.
Maraming salamat.
Maraming
Sa
salamat.
mga audition ka na. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, so, yeah. So, maraming salamat sa mga
Maraming
support.
salamat.
Salamat po.
Salamat po
Sa lahat.
sa
Sa lahat
lahat.
ng mga Pilipino.
Sa lahat ng Filipino. Sa
Oh, she's
Filipino.
trying.
You're trying. That's good. That's a good start.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
you
am
can also
trying.
talk in Taglish or in English. Talk to them and say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you want to say to all Filipinos?
I want to
Philippine
say
supporters?
thank you to everybody who's supporting me.
Kids who look up to you.
And if you're like a kid like me, um, try your best if you like singing, and never let yourself down, and
Mhm.
believe in yourself.
This is very important.
Oh.
She's always said it. It's come out of her. She
Mm-hmm.
wants people,
You can do this.
kids, to not be overcome their shyness and their lack of
Mm-hmm.
confidence, and give it a go. That's what you want to
Like
say, isn't
me.
it? Give it a go.
Because if I can do it, you can do it too.
That's it. That's come
Oh,
from her.
that's so,
You know.
yes,
Yeah.
that is so
So she's doing it.
sweet.
Thank you.
Now, before we
Yes, it's
close
good.
our segment, Victoria, can you please tell us what is your most memorable journey or the part of your journey in the Voice Kids UK, that one that you will not forget?
I think it's the
Oh,
finals.
I won't ever forget spending that time with Will, doing that duet with Will, singing with
Oh,
Will.
yes.
I will never forget that because that moment was just magical.
You really
Oh,
connected, didn't you?
Yeah,
Really connected.
that was really
you
good.
have, and I understand you will perform in one of the concerts of
Yes.
Black Eyed Peas.
Yes, I
So
am.
repeat that. What he said.
So he
Okay.
said, um, you are, well, next year when everything's gone, no coronavirus and stuff like that, you will sing with us in our concert next year. And I
Black Eyed
was
Peas.
the Black Eyed Peas concert, and I was amazed, shocked. I mean, I love the Black Eyed Peas. I've been listening to their songs since I auditioned for the Voice Kids.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to Where's the Love and some of their Filipino songs, and
Yeah,
now they're doing
they've got
Spanish.
a really good album, the new Black Eyed Peas album.
Yes, it's called
It's called
Translation.
Translation, and half the songs are in Spanish. Well, a mix of Spanish and Tagalog.
Yeah.
Because Apple Diab is
Yes,
in there, so
yeah.
Oh,
uh,
of course.
and the new singer. Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
it's very
Victoria, you have
good.
to invite us. You have to invite us when that happens, okay?
Yes,
When you
of course I will.
perform with Black Eyed Peas, okay?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, oh well, I think we have to say thank you to you, Alsina family, for
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
yes,
The
for
little
being
one.
part of the show today. And yes, and just in time, nandiyan na si
Just in
Bunso.
time, William. This is William. Say
Just
hi.
in time to say hi
Hi.
and bye. Hi.
Bye.
Hi.
They've got a long show to do. Say
Yes.
hi.
So, maraming salamat po sa inyo for chatting with us, for sharing your experience, and Victoria for singing. Maraming
Thank you.
salamat sa iyo. I
Maraming
hope
Maraming
salamat,
salamat po.
Rose.
when you
Yay!
come back on One You Connect, you speak a little bit more of Tagalog, okay? No pressure, but just try, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Maraming salamat, Rose.
Maraming salamat po.
Crystal.
Maraming salamat. We will have to organize a play date with
Jane.
Victoria and my daughter, Julia, okay?
Okay.
Gusto ko lang pasalamat sa mga sa mga kamag-anak ko sa Pilipinas dyan, kapatid ko, si Tupe, mga friends namin dito sa UK na sumuporta kay Victoria. Yeah, tsaka yung mga lahat-lahat na kayo dyan. Hindi ko na babanggitin lahat-lahat. Alam niyo na kung sino kayo. Maraming salamat.
Jasmine, taga saan kayo sa Pilipinas?
Taga Quezon City ako.
Okay.
Tapos, yung tatay ko taga Cavite.
Okay. So maraming salamat sa mga kamag-anak ni Jasmine sa Quezon City, sa Pilipinas, at lahat po ng Filipino community na sumuporta kay Jasmine. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat din sa Alsina family sa pagbibigay sa atin ng oportunidad na ma-interview si Victoria sa JUANEUKONEK. Maraming salamat po. We'll see you again another time. Magbabalik po kami for a short break.
Maraming salamat.
Bye.
Maraming salamat po.
Nagbabalik po tayo sa JUANEUKONEK, and this part naman ay ito po ang ating pangalawang segment, which is Philcom Connect. Balik na rin, Crystal Diaz, for our Philcom Connect. Hi!
Hello, everyone. Hello to all the listeners of JUANEUKONEK.
Yes, for 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Victoria and the family, they're super smart, super cute. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear her sing in this show. So thank you. Yeah.
Yes, they're so super sweet. The family, we can see how they have been helping Victoria to do what she wants, and she's only 8 years old, and we can see that she's enjoying whatever it is that she's doing, the Voice Kids and the theater and all that music classes that she's been doing. So back to business. Philcom Connect. Yes, go ahead, Crystal.
Okay, so let me introduce this lady. I'm in awe of her. She's the founder and CEO of the Purple Community Fund. In 2002, Jane Walker developed highly successful poverty reduction programs for deprived communities in some of the worst slums in the Philippines. Following her fantastic work, she was awarded an MBE, Member of the British Empire in 2009, and won the Woman of the Year UK Award in 2010. She is passionate, dedicated, and tenacious. Without further ado, Miss Jane Walker, MBE. Hello, Miss Jane.
Wow.
Was that a good introduction?
I'm blushing. that was a lovely entrance. Thank you very much. What a lovely introduction, Crystal.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here in JUANEUKONEK. I've been trying to, get hold of you to join the show. I know you've been very busy, but it's an honor for you to join us today.
Likewise.
So, now let us talk about your charity. Let us talk about Purple Community Fund. So, why Philippines? How did it all start for you?
Oh, right. That's going back quite a while now. Well, I was working for News International, and I'd been promoted and was offered a high position in London, and I just wanted to be sure if that was what I wanted to do with my career. So I decided to go to the Philippines I was on a 3-month sabbatical for work. And I picked the Philippines because I knew it was predominantly English speaking. I knew you had the most amazing dive sites, the most incredible beaches, and I had never been to Asia, and I really wanted to start there. And so that was how it started. And I was on an airplane. I got to Manila, and one of the first things I did was I bought a newspaper. And the newspaper was showing stories of families who were being evicted from their homes. They were in shanty housing. I'd never seen anything like that before. And so I just jumped in a taxi and asked the taxi driver to take me to the worst water area that he knew. And he took me to North Harbour, and he took me to Tondo to Smoky Mountain had already closed then because it was around about 95, I think, Smoky closed. But there was still a dump site there that was just across the road. But I followed 2 little boys up to this dump site. I didn't realise it was a dump site at all. But one of them had a big hook in his hand, the other had a sack, and they were about 4 or 5 years of age. And nobody was supervising them. So it was a very unusual thing to see. So I followed them, and I followed them up this dirt track. And it turned out to be the Pier 18 dump site that opened shortly after Smoky Mountain closed. And there were hundreds and hundreds of children and families that were living and working on this toxic dump site. And I think it was just the shock, really, of seeing child workers when they should have really been in school, and that was for me my epiphany moment, really. And the reason, Crystal, it was an epiphany moment is because when I was 15, my parents decided it was time for me to leave home. So I was in effect homeless at 15, but I had the benefit of my education. And even though I didn't finish school, I didn't go through to college or university, I was able to get a job. I worked as a chambermaid in a hotel, and then eventually I got this job as a sales girl in the newspaper industry, and then worked my way up. And I realised if it wasn't for my education, I would never have been able to have changed my own life. And I really, really wanted that for the children. And suddenly that became much more important to me than my career in the newspapers, and it overtook everything else that I wanted to do. And so I went back to England and I resigned, and I worked as a consultant. And while I did that, I studied how to run a charity in the Philippines and how to run one in the UK. So that was the start. But gosh, that was like 20 years ago.
So Philippines is very much close to your heart.
Oh,
you have Yes, I'm so glad that someone from the UK understand what's happening in the Philippines. A lot of vulnerable women and children needing help, and you were just there, to help them. And I know Tondo actually, and it is the poorest part of Manila, of the Philippines. And for someone someone like you to help those people, I think it's just pretty fantastic. It's so amazing. So I think you have actually got the presentation, Miss Jane. Would you like to use that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
So
Yeah.
have you got that, the PowerPoint?
Yeah. So if we can just go on to the next slide, I think we'll see. I think that's okay. So are the slides in order, or
is that in order, Chad?
I can definitely talk about this, and that's fine. Don't worry, I can talk about every slide.
It is in order, according to Chad. Yes.
Yeah, at the start of COVID, we knew that most of our families are going to restaurants and they're collecting pag, the Tagalog word for leftover food. And the gentleman in the photo is Jojo. I've known Jojo for a very, very long time. His wife is our jewelry maker. and all of his children have come through our education programs. One of them are in college, and he has always been involved in recycling in some way or another. And for the last 10 years, he's been making the pack. So his job is to go and collect it from the fast food restaurants, and then it's segregated. He takes out the waste, and the food is just left, and then it's refried and it's sold. But when COVID was announced, the lockdown was announced March 15, we knew that families were going to be hungry, because this was a staple for many families. And of course, our families are earning around about anywhere between 5,000 to 8,000 pesos a month. And the national statistics are saying that a family of 5 should be earning around about 23,500 pesos. So there isn't savings to fall back on. There isn't food in a cupboard somewhere that they can use for later on. Most families are living on a meal-to-meal basis, and if they're lucky, some will be going on a day-to-day basis. So straight away, we launched a campaign to help provide food parcels for families. And we had a donor in the Philippines who's been giving us green groceries, vegetables and fresh fruit for our feeding program for our school students. And I immediately contacted him and asked him if he would continue to donate to us so that we could make food packs up and start to give these out to families. But so that's one of the initiatives. In actual fact, we thought we would only be feeding until the government food packs came in, but actually we are still feeding. And I think we've fed, I just did the stats the other day, we've just fed over 70,000 people over the last 3 or 4 months. So it's still a big thing. And April 18th, a fire broke out. We're really used to this, though. I mean, we've gone through so many fires where families have just lost everything, but it just seems so much worse during lockdown because the whole community were there, and so of course it was a very widespread fire. 1,055 homes were burnt, and that displaced 4,115 people. And lucky for me, I was on the phone about 1:30 in the morning, British time, to my team. And then the fire literally happened while I was on the phone, and they were showing me real-time photographs of that fire. And immediately we were able to open up our centres, and families went in, and the government opened up schools. But the biggest challenge was helping families rebuild homes. And so we were able to get bags of cement, donations, and really as much wood and metal that we possibly could to help families. And one of the things I was really keen to do was to buy CRs for families, toilets, because they don't have sanitation very well there, and we wanted to really get that done. So I think we were able to buy about 200 or 250 toilets for families, and they built tiny cesspits. And then they put in, because obviously if you're living at home all the time, you don't have access to any other. So that was a big issue for us. But all the families have rebuilt their homes now. And this is something we're seeing. Our driver took this for us because we have a special pass from the government to go and collect food or deliver food anywhere in Manila. And he took these photographs to show me that now around about 53% of adults are unemployed, and lots of families have started to beg on the streets asking with these signs. And he said it's really a common sight. And I think this is just, one of the problems highlighted. I think CNN just did a report recently. Esquire magazine. And they said that 50% of adults now were unemployed. So the need for food is very strong.
Especially now during the pandemic. It's
always been there, but the pandemic has really highlighted it, because I think so many people have just lost their work or their ability to work, and don't have the savings to rely on. And of course then, through the quarantine, it was announced that everybody 21 years and below and 60 years and above are required to stay indoors, which is fine if you're living in a house and you've got, electric fans or aircon, and, you're living in a good, stable home. But all of our families are living in makeshift shanties, and for a whole family to be confined in that space, a very small space, was concerning. We managed to get 3 teams of 2 fathers together, and they are systematically, and they're still doing it now, going round to families' homes and finding out, do they need a new roof? Do they need a wall fixing? Maybe they might need some cement on the floor, just to try and make those houses more stable and more secure. And of course, we're always worried about fire with the families staying in, but it's challenging for the families to have to do that. And with so many job losses, we wanted to find ways of getting families back to work. And we've always instigated that anybody in our livelihood programs, they need to save. So they have their savings program. We don't manage it, they manage it, but every week they save into the savings program. And at the end of the year, there's quite a big chunk of money, and the money is divided between the women, and then they decide, the nannies decide what they want to do. And most of them want to supplement, their trabajo, they want another work. And so they have a small business. And we've been running that system for such a long time that we decided that the best thing to do now was slightly adapt it and run it as business skills training and small business startup loans. We needed to do
I can see a lady with sari store there.
Yeah, well, actually, that's Jojo's wife. Yeah, and because she's part of our livelihood program, and because our sales from our products are so low, she's running her own eatery. This is Lolly. She is one of the mothers of one of our she's been an honor student all through her education. And she just has always ran a sari store, but she wanted to do rice. So we lend her rice. And of course, that means those families are now earning their own money. They can afford to buy their own food. It means we can help some of those other vulnerable families that aren't in that position to do that. But the business loans has been really successful. And because the feeding program is so massive, we have been generating an awful lot of rice sacks. So we've been saving the rice sacks, and we were really, really fortunate. Infinity Foods in Brighton and Infinity Foods Wholesale, they're predominantly a vegan supermarket. They really adopted this product. And so we've been supplying them with these rice sack shopping bags. And I've got a sea freight order coming over now. So hopefully we can get them on our online shop. But it's been brilliant because it's kept 35 of our sewers in work. And so, again, that's another 35 families that we don't really have to worry about in terms of provision for food. They can earn their own money. So, yeah, it's been a godsend to have that. But these are the emergency relief packs, and it varies very much on how much money we've been able to raise that month as to how much we can give away. But we've kind of adopted an area. It's called Aroma in the Barangay 105 area, and it's about 2,500 families living there. And I think this particular distribution, they were given 3 or 4 kilos of rice and dried fish. And we just try and do as much as we possibly can just to help those families. But we have now a list of vulnerable adults, solo mothers who have to stay home and look after their children. And I think we will probably be continuing to provide food for a long time. But I'm particularly worried about Christmas. We want to do Noche Buena packs, maybe give enough food for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Well,
oh yeah, this was fun. And this is really because our livelihood manager and myself, we both love to grow. He has a little plot of land in Bicol where his house is. And so we were able to get hold of the Philippine Agricultural Society, and they came and trained our staff how to do basic vegetable growing. Sustainable, because we produce our own organic fertilizer, and that went out into the rural areas because we work in the Ig, in 2 areas in Bulacan and Baguio. But also some of the mums, so Selena here is on the side, she lives in Tondo and she desperately wanted to grow. She's only got room for 6 plants, but they're also growing in the urban parts. So the vegetable growing's only been going about 2 months now, so I don't think they'll get a yield for another few months. But it's just another source of food, and I think that's really, we've shifted really, Crystal, from developmental work to really emergency relief, which is kind of what we feel like we've been doing since March. But as you know, schools were closed until a vaccine is available, and officially are opening on October the 5th. So I think that's tomorrow, isn't it? So
yes.
There was a massive need. It's a blended mix of how students will learn. Mainly high school, senior high school and college will be online. Some elementaries though are also online, and some are doing printed materials. But the biggest concern was how were we going to be able to provide smartphones and tablets for children in such a short space of time. We've got just over 600 students on our education programme and about 450 that are waiting to be on full sponsorship. So that there was an immediate need. So we were very fortunate. RBC Bank donated 75 tablets to us, and they went straight to our college students. And some of our grant donors changed the use of funds that would normally be buying school uniforms for us and let us buy smartphones. And fingers crossed, I think we've just about got everybody covered. And the children start. I'm getting messages, actually, even through this meeting with you, I'm still getting messages on my phone from students showing
I can hear it.
yeah, they're really, really happy that they've got the phones. But it's crucial that we give the students the opportunity to continue education. We don't know how it's going to work, but we hope it will. And this was the site that I first saw all those years ago, families that were living, on the toxic dump site. Unfortunately, now the dump site is closed. It closed 2018 officially. But a lot of the waste is still being segregated where families live. So the city's waste is reduced, of course, because a lot of the businesses are not generating the same amount of waste. And that has an impact on our community because they recycle from the city's waste. So even with a reduced amount of waste, that means their income is reduced too. Oh yes. Well, we love this because Jomar, who's the young man you can see on the right hand side, he was a charcoal maker when he was 4. Well, that's when I first met him, and he was always covered. He was black head to toe in charcoal. And we used to go I used to go to the dump site every day, every morning. That was part of my job. And I would take the van with me, and then any sick people would come in the van. And Jomar always used to hold my hand and walk around with me while I was doing that. And I was desperate to get him into school, and he didn't want to come. There was just no way. But when he was 6, he changed his mind, and he came to school. And as a reward, we let him join our football clubs. And so he became part of one of the football teams for PCF and loved it. I mean, not just enjoyed it. It was just his life. And by the time he was about 15, he'd already set up his own community football teams as well. And it was inevitable. He went on to be a coach, and he's now our sports coach. And he was so
watching.
Well, he was so worried when COVID happened because he asked me and he said, "What am I going to do? There's no contact sports. What can I do?" And I said, "But you're a fantastic dancer. Why don't you do Zumba?" you know, when we're allowed. And then so we had to wait, obviously, for the lockdown to relax to modified quarantine. And as soon as we were able, then he started doing Keep Fit and Zumba. So he's doing that morning, afternoon, and evening. We expanded our clinic, Crystal, because most of the clinics have been closing in our areas because the doctors and the nurses are being seconded to the hospitals. And there's just been this real difficulty of families being able to access healthcare. So our doctor, which is the doctor there cutting the ribbon, she suggested that we expand our clinic so that we can take more patients in. And then, of course, everybody has to be seen behind plastic sheeting. So we were doing that. And
I think we have a video of that, Miss Jane, the community clinic. Yeah?
we do,
Jack,
yeah.
can you show that? I think you showed that earlier, but we have a video of it, I believe. So that's good. So please donate. Everyone who's listening, who's watching this program in JUANEUKONEK, please go to the PCF website, and on the website it will have the bank details. Correct, Miss Jane?
Yes, it will. Yeah. I think healthcare is really important. It's so difficult for patients to access medicines and things now. So we've been really fortunate that we just have the available space to be able to do that. And of course, they use the waiting room in the gym as a spillover, which is really good. So we've needed to be really flexible. We've needed to change all of our programs. And I have to say that our team are quite young in terms of age. And they have just been absolutely phenomenal. At the point of the COVID, when everybody was very scared and didn't know if they were going to survive, if they were infected, our team just went out and served the community. And you know, really, I didn't feel like I could ask them to do that. That was really their choice, and their hearts just went out to their kabayan. And I'm just in awe. I'm always in awe of Filipinos, but I am in awe especially of families that live in those tough communities, because the resilience of those families is absolutely incredible. It's inspiring. And they have a can-do, everything will work out kind of attitude, and everything we do for the families, for the community, they're just so incredibly grateful, and we just feel so incredibly privileged to be in that position. I personally, I think I gained a family when I went to the Philippines, and I think that's why it will always be back in my heart, and I'm like a bouncing ball. I would just always continue to be back there. It was tough leaving because I was living in Tondo and I was quite settled. But I'm really looking forward to going back, and I miss everybody. And I'm so grateful that we have the internet, that we have Facebook Messenger and FaceTime, because I still feel connected to families because of it. And I'm just so grateful to everybody who has supported us and who's had the faith in us to know that we can adapt and change our programs to meet the growing needs. It's been phenomenal, as of course the Philippine Women's Association has been just such a brilliant supporter of our work, and we couldn't thank you enough for everything you've done.
Yes. It's amazing. Oh, hello. Welcome back, Miss Rosa Clarinal. There's so much more to talk about this charity, the Purple Community Fund. Of course, spearheaded by Miss Jane Walker, MBE. I am in awe of you. I mean, there's another video that we can show. I'm not sure if we have the time. It's a community kitchen. I'm not sure if we're able to show that, but also a video about a video on sponsor a child. Again, for I would like to I would like everyone to check out their website, because there's so many information there that you can view. And of course, if you'd like to donate to their different projects in the Philippines, please again check their website.
Thank you.
Miss Rose? Oh, you need to unmute. Yeah, can't hear you. You need to unmute. That's it. So, Miss Jane, you unfortunately you are stuck in the UK. So, how are you managing at the moment with the travel restrictions in the Philippines?
Yeah, it's difficult because I came in on a tourist visa and I was in the process of getting my work permit, so I came out on a tourist visa. So I have to wait as a foreigner until we're able to open back up again. But I mean, in the early days when I came back, I was getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to be on Filipino time so I could connect in real time with my team, and I think that was the most important thing. But yeah, it's actually, this has been the longest time I've ever been away. I haven't. It's now like nearly 6 months, and I've always been back or been living there or traveling. So yeah, it feels. We just keep waiting. But obviously, you know, when it's safe to go back, then I guess it will be open to all tourists, and you know, we'll head back. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now, guys?
Yes.
Hi, Jane. Thank you so much. You know what I want us to play is how to sponsor a child. I think it's very important because
We have it there.
yes, do we have it? Do we have that information, Chad?
Yes.
We have the video. Can we play it so that yung mga nanonood po ng JUANEUKONEK, kung interesado kayo to sponsor a child, to support them in their education, especially now that classes will start in the Philippines in October 5. So let's watch and let's find out kung paano po tayo makakatulong. Please, let's watch this so that ipaalam po natin sa ating mga kababayan how to help and how to sponsor. Chat.
Ako po si Moisa Jimingo, 11 taong gulang. Nakatira po ako sa Helping Complex. Gusto ko po sana makatapos po ako ng pag-aaral, kaso nga lang po natigil po dahil sa COVID-19. Gusto ko po makatapos ng pag-aaral para matulungan ko po ang pamilya ko. Gusto ko po maging arkitekto. Sana po matulungan niyo po kami. Sana po magkaroon po ako ng sponsor.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, thank you. If Chad, if we can freeze the last bit where you can see how to sponsor, I think it would be useful for our audiences. But I'm touched by that clip, by the message of that girl, because you know I was also listening, Jane, to your story about education, and I agree with you that education is a great equalizer. So sa mga kababayan po natin, para ma-improve ang buhay nila, kailangan talaga ay they have to continue with their studies. So there are challenges along the way, especially because of COVID. But please don't quit. Stay on, stay in school. Mag-aral kayong mabuti because that will take you to wherever you want to be in life, regardless of your background. So education is a great equalizer. That's why anything about education we have to support. So na-touch ako, I was touched by that girl. Oh, I was asking for support para makapag-aral siya because you know the private schools in the Philippines, they've already started I think a month ago. And that yes, and so the public schools magsisimula pa lang because they have to ready the school. So if you see we can see yung if you see yung disparity of the rich and the poor, makikita nyo na kaagad during the pandemic and in the start of education. So one month behind na kaagad yung public schools natin. But of course, we have to keep soldiering on because of the pandemic.
Well, just a quick one.
Yes.
One of the products from PCF. This is like a Christmas decoration. It's a wreath and made of, I don't know if you can see it, made of ring pulls.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, from and look at the work put into it. It's
Oh,
just amazing. It's very cute. You have this as well for your Christmas tree. Another one.
yes.
Look at that. It's
Where do we
absolutely-
buy them?
You can buy this. You can buy this again from their website.
Okay.
Correct, Miss Jane? And actually, just a quick shout out to Maria Lone, who's our the chair of fundraising committee, and she's actually left a message. She said, "Hi Jane and Crystal, on my way in the stormy weather, delivering CF products." So she's out there, FWA UK. So well done to you, Maria. Wilma Lone. That's Wilma.
Maria, oh yes, this is the message of Maria. Well done to you. It's raining here in the UK, so you have to bring your umbrella.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, I am interested in having some of those deckers
Oh,
para uplift our spirits during the lockdown, and maybe we should start decorating our homes with Christmas trees and the like. So yeah, so Jane, thank you so much for your time and thank you for sharing your experiences also of staying in the Philippines. What a great person, what an opportunity to have you on our show today. Sana po makatulong tayo sa ating mga kababayan, especially those na nangangailangan ng tulong and then asking support for the education of the children. So I guess we have a little bit more time for one or two message or question. Do we have anything? I'll just greet my mom who's watching from Pampanga and my brother are also watching from Pampanga in the Philippines. So ayan, magna 9 o'clock na po sa Pilipinas and they're watching JUANEUKONEK.
And also hello to Darmin Balarignon. She said hello. Thanks for always supporting us.
Yes, thank you, Darwin, for always supporting JUANEUKONEK. Next week na lang po natin ipamimigay yung mask for our loyal viewer and supporter, giving away the Mitch Disunya. Mitch Disunya is a supporter of JUANEUKONEK. So if we have frontliners to message us, we will give you that fashionable mask that we have been promoting and using. So that's all given to us by designer Mitch Disunya for frontliners, for supporters of JUANEUKONEK. So I guess, Jane, we would have to ask you for your parting message.
Oh, well, I guess my parting message is that, you know, I just wish for everybody who's watching this that they can stay well and safe and happy and positive. And remember those that are less fortunate, because there has never been a time, I think, in our history that people have needed our help more than ever now. And I hope that we can all respond to those that are in need, because not only does it give us a good feeling, but it's so needed. It's so needed to keep families strong and to keep them moving forward. So just thank you so much for inviting me. I feel really humbled to be on your show, and for just giving me this opportunity to be a voice. for those families that we're serving in Tondo and in Manila. And thank you for both of your support. I feel really, really honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. It was our pleasure. Maraming salamat. Yes, Crystal?
That's it. She said everything now. So thank you very much for joining the show today.
Yes, I hope you can go back to the Philippines to continue your service, your support, your project. So hopefully magkaroon na ng vaccine so that we can go back to normal. So, eto po, maraming salamat sa mga nanunood sa atin. Magbabalik po kami sa susunod na linggo para po sa ating programang JUANEUKONEK. Kasama po namin kayo sa pagkonekta sa mga Pinoy sa Europa ngayong panahon ng pandemya. Ang kwento ni Juan sa Europa ay kwento ng bawat Pilipino sa iba-ibang sulok ng mundo.
We continue to honor our kababayans here in the UK and beyond, and we trust that we have inspired you, given you hope, and entertained you this Sunday afternoon.
Thank you to the National Lottery Community Fund for being our funder in this project Kontra Corona Kabayan. We will be serving you in the next 6 months. Ako po si Rose Eclarinal.
And I'm Crystal Dias.
Hanggang sa muli sa JUANEUKONEK.
Ang mga kwento nyo, isigaw natin sa mundo, bagong bayani namin kayo. Sipag at tapang nyo, hinialay sa mundo, sinasaludo namin kayo. Pilipino, itaas ang noo.